The talk Effective Java Reloaded came out of the fact that I felt for several years now we've been talking about all of these alternative languages on the JVM. We've spent a lot of time talking about Groovy, JRuby, Scala, Clojure, and it's important that you learn these languages and learn how to use them effectively and figure out where they might apply to the work that you're doing and push to apply those. But at the same time, I found that as I've polled the crowd at various NFJS shows, I've found that the vast majority of us are still spending 40 hours a week writing Java code. And the success of many of our projects or lack thereof indicates that we're still not doing a very good job of it. When we want to get better at writing Java code, it pays to, or any other language for that matter, it pays to learn how to use it effectively. And in the foreword to Josh Block's book, Effective Java, Guy Steele tells us how to do that. He says there's three things that we need to learn. We need to understand the grammar of the language. You know, how is the language structured? How do we write code that actually makes sense to the compiler? And then there's the vocabulary. How do we talk about name things that we want to use in the language? And most of the books and courses that we take stop there. But he goes on to describe another thing that we need to learn, and that's the idioms. You know, how is it that we write code that makes sense? What are the customary ways of doing things? How did the language designers intend for us to use that? And so that's the book that Effective Java is. The way it's structured is it's broken down into 78 discrete items. You could pick up any of these, they stand alone and read them. So I looked back over my experience the past few years of reviewing lots of Java code and thought about, okay, what are the things that developers miss the most often? And so I've highlighted the top 13 or so of those and broke them down into a menu. And so what we'll do during the course of the session is I'll flash these up on the screen and have you say, okay, where do you want to go next? And we'll go talk through and break down that item. And by the end of that, you ought to have a battery of skills that you can now go and on Monday morning apply them to your work, whereas maybe in one of these other alternative language sessions it's going to be quite some time before you'd be able to apply that. If nothing else, I hope that you'll go pick up the book and read it and apply it to your work.